Hello everyone, this is Fantasy-esque and welcome back to the Vampire Amazon Challenge in The Sims 4. We are following the reign of Queen Darling Cloudy Snarl, who has recently welcomed Lady Vladislaw Ratfa into the main court. But that's not the only big change happening in the lives of the vampires. The day has finally come for the first joining of two families in the Vampire Inner Court. Now that they are of age, it is time for Prince Zorro Cloudy Snarl and Lady Zuleika Darkpounce to be joined in marriage. Queen Darling has always harbored mixed feelings about this union, but she can't deny the importance of today's bride and groom being the first offspring of the court to make it to immortality. She and Lady Akira have been talking of this union since their son and daughter were children, and now it will finally reach fulfillment. With a heavy but hopeful heart, Queen Darling declares Prince Zorro and Lady Zuleika as husband and wife before the whole court. She wishes upon them eternal unity and prosperity, along with strong children to secure the Darkpounce bloodline. And so the ceremony comes to a close in the presence of vampires, ghost, and living. We are picking up at 12 p.m. on Friday after the wedding of Prince Zorro and Lady Zuleika has taken place. This is the celebrations that we are now having. I have actually gotten our household members along with Prince Zorro and the parents of the bride and groom, and of course Yorick, to attend. And I kind of just want to take some time to see what's going through some of our ladies' minds and kind of have everyone just interact with each other, because I feel like the wedding is very hard to come by, not only because we have very few matches that can be made, but as you guys have witnessed, a lot of our vampires are dropping like flies, so there's no guarantee that we'll even be able to experience another wedding like this. So I feel like weddings in vampire culture are definitely a big deal and something that everyone really kind of remembers and celebrates and takes the time to appreciate. So let's go ahead and get our bride to cut the cake. Now I've actually gone ahead and added this particular wedding hall down where we have all of our crypts, and as you'll see, there are no doors because everyone is going to wander all over the castle, and I kind of just wanted to spend some time in the wedding hall celebrating the wedding, which is why I kind of just, teleported everyone in, but that's okay. Obviously they have doors, we just can't see it, right? We just have to use a little bit of our imagination. Plus, a lot of these vampires can actually, they can fly in bat form, or they can teleport as mist, so, it makes sense. But we do have the wedding portraits of Zorro and Zuleika behind the cake, and guys, Zorro looks so sad and so miserable. And then you have Zuleika, who almost looks as though she's not even with someone. It looks like she's standing by herself, a very independent woman. And if we look at how they're feeling right now, where is Zuleika? Zuleika's sitting, Zuleika is sitting here. And I flippin' love her wedding gown. The vampires, like I said, weddings are a big deal for them. So I definitely think their wedding fashion, at least right now, would be very extravagant and very colorful, because it's a celebration, right? It's a union of two households and the continuation, hopefully, of the Darkpounce bloodline through Zuleika. Now, we won't have any name changes. I think I explained this in the very beginning, but the names are connected to the bloodline deities, and bloodline is a big thing to these vampires. So even though Zorro has married Zuleika, he will always keep his last name of Cloudy Snarl because he's the son of a Cloudy Snarl woman, and Zuleika, obviously, as a female, is going to keep her family name of Darkpounce, and any children they have will inherit the name Darkpounce. They will be of the Darkpounce bloodline, because we trace the females, right? That aside, what was going through my head? Yes, if we look at Zuleika, she feels fine about being married. She feels fine. But Zorro actually feels happy to be married to Zuleika. And this is so sad because even though he's happy, in his wedding portrait, he looks kind of miserable. And I think that's because the death of Vampyre is weighing on his conscience and he can't fully enjoy himself. He can't enjoy this moment because two of his sisters have died and he killed Vampyre. So I think Zoro a little bit is almost wondering whether or not he deserves to have this happiness, whether he deserves to be in this place. If we look at his relationship with Zuleika, where is she? Would she come into family now? She would. If you look at his relationship with her, it is -7, so already, things are kind of rough between them. The wedding is definitely not enough to fix things. In terms of consummation, I feel like the vampires typically have a bit of a break from the wedding to the consummation. They usually consummate the marriage when the breeding season comes around. Unless they've kind of fallen in love with each other and they want to consummate the marriage before that point. If we get it in, say, Zuleika's whims, that it's something she wants to do a first woohoo with Zoro, then they would consummate the marriage early. Otherwise, in vampiric society, typically after the marriage, they wait until breeding season comes around before they consummate. So they kind of have that amount of time to maybe fix their relationship, or maybe for their relationship to go from bad to worse. I don't know. But it definitely feels like Zuleika's kind of alone in this marriage. I don't think she would want to put much effort towards Zoro. Things might change now that they are, spouses. They might choose to kind of rectify their behavior or look at the greater good, but I don't know if that is going to be something that does happen. I do have some whims lined up though, so I wanted to go ahead and do that. First up, we have Lady Lilith, who's playing the violin. It's actually very sweet of her to give us some entertainment because we actually don't have any music or anything down here, because I wanted to encourage everyone to talk to each other as much as possible. Actually, before I forget, Zuleika, can we cut the wedding cake? Well, apparently not, but we'll remove the wedding topper and we'll get everyone to kind of eat the wedding cake. So let's see. We'll call to meal. Well, is she gonna eat any? I low-key love how the cake matches the dress. It was not intentional. I use this cake all the time, but it was kind of cute. Okay, everyone's gonna have cake. So we have cut the wedding cake. Wonderful, wonderful. So everyone's celebrating, which makes me really, really happy. And now we can go back to Lady Lilith, who did not get any cake. Lilith. I guess she doesn't want to. That is okay. But she wants to talk to a non-household sim. I'm going to interpret that as her wanting to talk to Lord Yorick, maybe. So she's going to go ahead, gossip about ancient vampires as a way of maybe talking about the vampires who are no longer with us, because I think she would sense that at Zuleika and Zoro's wedding, maybe Yorick is looking at the wedding arch and thinking about Nydia, and a part of him is also thinking about, how close he came to being with Zara. So she would be a little bit conscious of that. Also, guys, it's been a long time, I feel like, since we've seen Victor, but this is Zuleika's father. Obviously, it's a wedding, so I thought we'd invite Victor as well. But look at how cute this is. Father and daughter. Look at that, Victor. If you think about it, he's kind of a successful father too, because he managed to raise, his offspring, a daughter of his, managed to become immortal. So that's kind of fun. But Lilith, did you manage to talk with Yorick? Come on, let's talk about Yorick. Not talk about Yorick, talk to Yorick, sorry. Okay, she's gonna talk to him. And let's go ahead and complete that. But I even saw Bako cheering Yorick up off camera. They were kind of standing over here and Bako was tapping him on the shoulder and telling him to cheer up. And so that kind of makes me think that Yorick was most definitely thinking about one of Bako's not one of Bako's daughters, jeez. He was thinking about Nydia or Zara. Zara was Bako's daughter, and, you know, Zoro is Bako's son. So there is that. Moving on to Lady Akira. Akira wants to share insecurities, so let's see who she has the closest relationship with. And we'll kind of count Zoro in the numbers that we're looking at while he's with us during the wedding celebrations. She has a 0 with Vladislav, a 99 with Zuleika, a 54 with Darling, a -14 with Zoro. She really does not like her son-in-law. A 35 with Lilith, a 40 with Nimue, and a 46 with Caleb. So definitely her daughter Zuleika. She's going to share some insecurities. And I think in particular, these insecurities are going to be Akira's fear for whether or not Zuleika's going to be able to adjust to this marriage. Because she kind of feels like they have gone through a lot to get here. And I think she would definitely want Zuleika to make the most of it. She realizes this is not what Zuleika had wanted for herself, but at the end of the day, the vampires do have to sacrifice a lot for family and bloodlines, and she's hoping that since she's been given the opportunity, that she'll try her best to make the most of it. Queen Darling, meanwhile, wants to kiss someone, so obviously that's going to be Caleb. Where is Caleb? Caleb? Oh, Caleb's sitting with her. I don't know why I'm looking for her elsewhere. Yeah, she is going to use this chance to go ahead and kiss Caleb. Now, guys, remember how beforehand Caleb was confused between Shannon and Darling, and she never ended up making a decision or a choice? Well, since Shannon kind of died, I think the choice was made for her, and Queen Darling is the answer. There is no one else really for her, at least not at this time, because she didn't get to choose. I suppose the bloodline deities chose for Caleb. And oh my goodness, sometimes you can't control certain Sims. Like, really, Vladislav? I had everyone in the wedding hall, and she teleports outside. But this is what I'm talking about, guys. I think I mentioned this in the last episode, but she doesn't spend a lot of time mourning the nobles at all. We have so many nobles that have died. She doesn't care about them. She just mourns the princesses. She just mourns the princesses, almost as though she is kind of obsessed with the way they died, and she has like a morbid fascination with their last moments and the fact that they're no longer with us, but they kind of were, and these are their remains. And I don't know, she's a bit scary. She's a little bit scary. Where's she going now? Is she gonna come back to the wedding hall? I mean, that would be nice, but I don't think she will. Well, let's keep going. We were with Darling. Nimue. Nimue wants to take a nap. Guys, I am really worried about Nimue as queen because all she does is nap. That is all she does and all she wants to do. I honestly don't know how she's going to be able, I mean, she can nap right over here, but I don't know how she's going to be able to cope with the responsibilities of being queen when she is constantly wanting to escape. I feel like this is escapist behavior. Oh my goodness. And that was very sweet of Victor to play the violin for a little bit. That was very nice. And him hugging his daughter on her wedding day. I love that. Zuleika. I think I had Zuleika, a whim for her as well. This was the last whim I wanted to take a look at. But apparently she has already kind of messed around with that. She has already done her whim, so I'm gonna have to... Oh, Zuleika, she's lashing out at her father? Okay, Zuleika and Victor have a difficult family dynamic. You know what? I could kind of see Victor obviously attending this wedding and seeing his daughter for the first time in a long time. I don't even know if he was there to attend her birthday. And he's probably thinking that she looks really good with Zoro and wanting to congratulate her. And he probably spoke to Zoro beforehand, and Zoro seemed happy with the wedding. So I think he is trying to be encouraging by telling Zuleika that she and Zoro make a really good match and stuff, but I can see Zuleika being offended by that because we know that in her eyes, Zoro is not the perfect husband that she wanted, and especially because Victor is complimenting her match with Zoro in front of Yorick. I think Zuleika would find that like very embarrassing. But obviously, Victor is not at the main court most of the time, so he wouldn't know what's going on over here, and he wouldn't know like that he said something wrong. So yikes. But I don't know what's going on with the discuss fine cuisine option because I honestly cannot find it with Zuleika anymore. I've tried, I can't, and I don't think she has a bad enough relationship with anyone right now to become enemies with them. So let's see what else she wants to do. What's going through your mind, Zuleika? And the fact that she's sitting next to Yorick, where is Zoro? Zoro's with his father and then Caleb and Lilith in the corner. They're not even spending their wedding day, like, with each other. Ask Prince Zoro about his day. Okay, look at that, guys. Look at that. I think she feels as though she should be civil with Zoro at least because there are a lot of eyes on her. And she, I feel like, is also the type that would not want to seem like she's still hung up on Yorick when it's clear that Yorick has moved on and is kind of pining over, this is so odd, but his betrothed's like dead sister, which yes was his ex-betrothed, but still he's hung up on Nydia. So I don't think Zuleika would want to do that. But let's come here and let's see if we can ask Zoro about his day. That would be in small talk. The fact that she was napping too, just like Nimue, she is, I think, not very interested in this wedding, but I think she also realizes the importance this wedding has in their culture. Oh, look at that, guys! The fact that Zoro likes small talk, and he realized that after Zuleika asked him how his day was, I feel like this kind of just shows that Zoro really, really wants to be noticed by his wife Zuleika, and he really wants to be approached by Zuleika. And the fact that she never does that, and then the one day she does, or on the wedding day when she's being, just polite, this is the bare minimum you do with someone, he feels so happy by that. Like, he likes her. It's not just that Zoro likes small talk. I'm interpreting this as Zoro likes it when Zuleika makes small talk with him. Zoro, you innocent thing. Oh, she's expressing fondness for him. Okay, she's expressing fondness, guys. But she's doing it in public, like with everyone else there. So a part of me feels like she's doing this just to show everyone that she's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with her. She's not moping or anything like that. I mean, it's their wedding day. The bride and groom should be acting like this, because this is what everyone expects of her. Well, guys, that is what we have for the wedding celebrations. But I think everyone's gonna wrap it up over here. As the wedding celebrations came to a close, Zoro found himself panicking in a corner, feeling like a fraud, not knowing that the one to put him in this predicament was his own wife. If Zuleika hadn't revealed the truth to the queen and twisted it to her own ends, then perhaps Zoro might have maintained his innocence and his mind. Zuleika looked over at him and scoffed. She was married to a madman, and everyone expected her to be happy. Yorick was even playing the violin like a good friend, but all it sounded like was mockery. This was to be her life, and this lunatic she called a husband was to father her children. Above her shoulder, the queen continued to talk, and Zuleika pressed her lips into a thin line as she listened, ever obediently. And with that said and done, I'm going to leave off here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.